95% of adults are walking around with a chronic nutrient deficiency. It accelerates physical aging, and almost no one is talking about it. The nutrient in question is an amino acid called glycine. It has largely escaped public attention because nutritional science officially classifies it as non-essential. The logic behind that label is that if your body can make a compound internally, you do not need to obtain it from food. But researchers like Dr. Alan Jackson at the University of Southampton have pointed out a massive flaw in that assumption. The human body simply cannot synthesize enough glycine to meet its own physiological demand. Current research shows the human body requires roughly 15 grams of glycine per day, but internal production caps out at 3. A modern diet adds roughly 2 grams. That leaves a massive daily deficit of 10 grams. That non-essential classification hit a mathematical certainty. Nearly every adult eating a modern diet is starved of this building block every single day. Historically, human beings ate animals entirely nose to tail. Our ancestors consumed skin, cartilage, tendons, and bone broth, the exact animal parts packed with collagen. Modern food culture systematically discarded those parts. Today, our diets are dominated by muscle meats like steak, chicken breast, and fish fillets. Those premium cuts contain only 1 to 3% collagen by weight. Human physiology evolved under entirely different dietary conditions. Our biology expects roughly 30% of the protein we consume to be collagen. We engineered connective tissue out of our meals. The near-universal 10-gram glycine deficit is the direct biological consequence of that shift. When a vital nutrient runs short, your body executes a strict rationing protocol called metabolic triage. It allocates the available glycine to absolute survival functions first, completely defunding lower priorities. At the very top of that ladder is red blood cell production. Glycine is required to build heme, the molecule that carries oxygen. Without oxygen, cells die in minutes. The body drains the glycine supply to guarantee oxygen delivery above all else. Right below that is genetic reproduction. Glycine builds the physical structures of DNA and RNA. Cell division cannot happen without it, so the body rigorously protects this second tier. The triage system is highly effective at keeping you alive for another day, but funding those top survival tiers exhausts the daily glycine budget, leaving almost nothing for the rest of your biological systems. Dropping down to tier 3, the starvation begins. Glycine is needed to make bile salts in the liver. Without enough of it, fat digestion drops, and you stop absorbing fat-soluble vitamins properly. Moving further down, the body reduces production of glutathione, its master antioxidant, crippling your ability to clear environmental toxins. At the same time, it throttles the creation of GABA, the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter that acts as the braking system for your nervous system. When that braking system lacks the raw materials to function, the brain cannot calm excitatory signals. This specific shortage directly fuels chronic anxiety, hyperactivity, and an inability to fall asleep. By tier 6, immune function is compromised. When frontline immune cells called macrophages finish fighting an infection, they are supposed to release glycine to signal an end to the inflammatory response. Starved of glycine, they fail to trigger that biological off switch, and inflammation becomes chronic. Modern medicine approaches insomnia, poor digestion, and systemic inflammation as distinct, isolated conditions. Frequently, they are simply the predictable expressions of a mid-tier glycine shortage. Eventually, we reach the lowest tiers of the triage ladder. This is where the daily glycine budget hits absolute zero. 70% of the skin's dry weight is collagen. With zero biological funding for new synthesis, the skin's structural scaffold weakens. It loses firmness, elasticity drops, and premature wrinkling accelerates. The decay extends deep into the body's physical infrastructure. The fascial web sags and loses its shape. Joint cartilage gradually fails to maintain its matrix, and arterial walls progressively stiffen over decades. We passively accept these physical declines as the inevitable result of aging. In reality, you are observing a body permanently forced to defund its long-term infrastructure to survive the day. You cannot bypass the metabolic triage system with clever biological hacks. The only way to restore function across every tier is to balance the budget by consuming the missing 10 grams. The optimal approach is returning to the animal parts we left behind. That means consuming slow-cooked connective tissues, eating the skin and cartilage, and drinking bone broth simmered for 12 to 24 hours. For those who won't realistically eat a nose-to-tail diet, there is a practical alternative. Supplementing with 10 to 15 grams of high-quality collagen powder every day effectively closes the gap. But there is a non-negotiable prerequisite for this protocol to work. Your body strictly requires vitamin C to cross-link the newly formed collagen and give it tensile strength. If vitamin C is absent, any new collagen you synthesize simply collapses. That structural failure is the exact mechanism behind the disease scurvy. Vitamin C and collagen production are biologically inseparable. Erasing this 10-gram daily deficit allows the triage system to finally fund the bottom of the ladder. It stops the body from sacrificing its long-term physical integrity just to survive the afternoon.